Okay, YouTubers, this is the Angry Prepper. Today's video is going to be more of a conversation or discussion. I think it's something that needs to be addressed when it comes to going outdoors. Right now, there are a lot of people out there, that think they know what they're doing when it comes to the outdoors. Now, I, by no means, think I know what I'm doing every time I go out, right? So it's why I go out all the time trying out new skills. I am no expert. I don't have a disillusion of being the best woodsman or survivalist out there. There are some guys that, hell, there are even some women out there that put me to shame, right? So I know what I know, and I know what I don't know. But the problem here is there is no room for arrogance out in the wilderness. Zero. I've watched people who swore up and down they were this new age woodsman and couldn't even start a fire with a match. Okay, so with that, these people would cut themselves with a knife just trying to put it back in their sheath. They would fall out of their hammocks. I mean, there's so many places I can go with this conversation where I'm trying just to keep it on this. Know your level of skills. Know where you lie in the wilderness game as far as your skill sets go, as far as what you can tolerate and can't tolerate, right? That's probably more important than anything else, because tolerating the weather plays a huge part in whether or not you're going to be able to survive out here and or know how to adapt to being out here, right? So if you are cold all the time, guess what? Coming outdoors during the winter months is not for you, right? If you know how to stay warm, if you know how to dress warm, then hey, have at it. But if you're constantly cold, even if you have all the correct gear on and you have a fire and you're still cold, then obviously it's not for you. Don't force it. I tell this story, I'm telling this discussion because I'm going to tell a story on an outing I went on where I let my arrogance almost kill me and my buddy, right? So I'm going to tell a shorter version of it, but basically we go scouting in Catskills for a prepper weekend, right? We were doing an outing during the cold, and we went up to, can't remember the name of the mountain, but I'm going to put it down here now. So we go up there to scout the weekend out. Now, we broke one of my rules, is never go at night, right? If you're going to go winter camping, make sure you go first thing in the morning. You find your camp, you set up your camp, you start a fire as soon as you get there. We did the complete opposite. We got there at night. It was, at the time we got there, below freezing. By the time we got to the midpoint of the mountain, it was now probably 21 degrees, 20 degrees. All right, not too cold yet. We get to the shelter, the wind is blowing directly into the shelter. Screwed us up right then and there. I didn't bring my tent with me because I thought the shelter was going to be enough. That was another mistake. Always bring your tent with you or some shelter. Now, my buddy brought a shelter with him. I didn't want to sleep in the shelter with him, his tent, because I took the whole man route. I'm like, I'm man, screw that. I'm not going to sleep in the, in the tent with you. You could sleep in the tent and I'll sleep behind it. He didn't even want to do that because he felt bad for me being outside the tent myself. Now, a lot of you are going to say, fuck that, I should have froze to death and he should have gotten his tent. You're absolutely right. He should have did that, but he didn't. So we slept in the lean-to. We put a plastic sheeting up to cut the wind around us, which helped a little bit. But now at that point in time, the temperature dropped to about 2 degrees. And that was probably 10 o'clock at night. So, no, sorry, it was earlier than that. It was 9 o'clock at night. And we tried to start a fire. We couldn't get this fire to save our life. There was so much snow on the ground, we couldn't find any firewood. We couldn't even find any dead trees laying on top of the snow. was sticking out from the snow. So we gave that up, and we did that for about an hour. By the time we were done, it was below 0. It was probably around -6. So we got in our sleeping bags, and that's where we were for the rest of the night. Now the whole night we're up because the plastic flap is flapping in the wind constantly, and I think both of us were too cold to get out and tie it down the other corner. So we let it flap all night, which kept us up all night. We didn't talk the rest of the night because we thought the other guy was sleeping. Meanwhile, we were both up. We were both up wondering if we were going to make it through the night. So with that, sun comes up, and I'm like, yo, John, you up? He goes, yeah, I've been up all night. I go, so have I. We were both up the entire night, wondering the same thing. So the scouting trip we went on was supposed to be a weekend. We cut it short. We did that one night. We were both frozen. We had nothing left in us because we were up all night, and we both had frostnip. Right, my fingertips and my toes were blue. The tips of them were blue. Couldn't feel my feet. Couldn't feel half my leg. I thought for sure I was going to have frostbite, but I didn't. He didn't. We got up. I'll tell you right now, I never had such a problem walking than I did that morning. I couldn't feel anything. It took probably half an hour for the blood and the feeling to come back into my legs to get them to work again. So to get back to the car was nothing short of an adventure, right? Because it was downhill. I couldn't walk. I was stumbling like I was a newborn drunk, right? If you know what that looks like. And we got back to the car. We had the heat on. We sat in the car for probably 45 minutes till we warmed up, so his hands warmed up so he can drive. And then we went home. Lesson there, don't be an asshole, all right? Don't be an arrogant asshole, and definitely don't be a macho asshole. Now, yes, I do the macho thing a lot, but when it comes to outdoors, there's no room for any of that. Know your skills, know what you're capable of, and do not underestimate the outdoors. Don't estimate the elements. Don't estimate the ground you walk on, right? Keep your head about you when you're outdoors. If you don't know something, learn it. I'm still learning how to bow drill. I do have the fundamentals down, thank God. I just need to start my second fire doing so, which is I'm practicing now, right? And I'm going to do a video on me practicing and getting one started, a fire started, sorry. There are a lot of things you need to learn. Foraging, I'm fairly okay with that. I am okay with tracking, at least bigger animals, but I'm not an expert at any of these things, right? Starting a fire, learn how to do that. Learn the basics. Don't go right to boat drill. Learn how to start a fire with a match or a lighter, right? And get it going. And then move on to ferro rod, flint and steel, and then magnifying glass, right? Do everything in stages. You don't have to learn everything at once. Learn them in stages, all right? Go to survival school, right? Go to Dave Canterbury's. Go to Shane Hobel's, which is here in New York, right? Go to Jeff Hatchett, which is up north. I think he's in Vermont or New Hampshire. I'll put all the schools in a link below. Learn these skills, especially if you're coming out here a lot. Don't underestimate them, and don't think you are the king of the outdoors when you're not. All right? Nobody's the king of the outdoors. Hell, you got seasoned survivalists who are not the king of the outdoors and will say it to your face. They don't know everything. All right? The minute you come out here and you think you know everything, you already screwed yourself. You screwed yourself anything in life if you take that stance. You know it all. All right? So hopefully this little conversation helped. I am going to start doing more videos on how-tos and watch me try to do certain skills that I just learned. And I'm going to put, my first video doing it, and then I'm going to put another video me actually doing it with no, me doing it under a certain amount of time, sorry, right? So that's the challenge. Learn the skill, and then do the skill in a certain amount of time, right? Okay, guys, well, this is The Angry Prepper. Thank you for watching. You can listen to me on podcasts now. You can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, and Google+. Thank you for watching.